Those who try to hide their plans for Adonai are doomed. They carry out their schemes in secret and think no one will see them or know what they're doing. They turn everything upside down. Let's start with the opposite of Rome, Emor. For in the Hebrew means speak. So we went from Emor. This is the time that Moses spoke over the nations, which was a discussion of all our feast days throughout the whole year. Jah describes the restrictions related to pre-sexuality and marriage. Jah then describes the majority of feast days. So in other words, these were our food offerings, our feast days. This is what Moses spoke over the nations. So we went from Emor to Rome. In ancient Roman religion, Roma was a female deity who personified the city of Rome. So we went from Emor, our feast days, to Roma's idol feast days. You will find this reading in the book of Revelations 2:9. Another thing they did was they lied of who God's children really are. This is in Revelations 3:9. Behold, I will make those of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Hebrews, but they are not. They lie. These are Caesarians, the one that had a conversion in the 8th century, and are passing as the children of Yah. Because it tells you right there that the 13th tribe and their identity thieves. And Joshua is not white either. That's another thing that they flipped over. And laid open the book of the law within the he that has sought to paint the likeness of the images. I covered this several times. There's a lot of relics on our lands proving that we are the Northern Kingdom. The Northern Kingdom, these ancient Israelites. The Americas is the land he gave to the Northern Kingdom, but we're spread throughout the world. That includes the islands like Hawaii, Puerto Rico, the islands, the Caribbean islands. Also Philippines, the Aborigines of Australia, like I said, the Congo, all of us, we're spread throughout the world. And then Judah is the southern kingdom, and Joshua came from the southern kingdom. He's the Lion of Judah. And it's even proven through DNA testing that they are the descendants of Jacob. So both kingdoms fell into captivity. So northern kingdom fell first, then Judah fell last, the southern kingdom. Babylonian captivity, the siege of Jerusalem. That's why Joshua said, I was sent only to the lost sheep of Israel. That's the northern kingdom. So our people fell into slavery first, the northern kingdom, and that includes the Taínos.
Want some higher education, or do you want to follow fantasies and fairy tales, right? This is by Margaret Ellen Newell again. I believe the same author of the Brethren by Nature book. And it says, ruthless European slave traders emptying villages and forcing terrified victims onto ships bound for the Atlantic. Lines of chained humans marching toward the slave markets under the watchful eyes of armed guards. Violent slave owners using torture and rape to force more work out of their captives. These searing images might bring to mind the terrible history of African slavery in the United States. But in fact, listen to this, my people, they actually describe historical events in the Bahamas, Central Mexico, and the American continent's western frontier. And the slaves were Indians, not African. They were Indians.
So what these people did is when we fell into captivity, they stole our identity. That's what the scripture tells you, that as Babylon has killed the people of Israel, so must she be killed. So I made a teaching. You can find it on YouTube on the Heavenly Light too. Title is 369 Frequency, the Gate, the Door to Yah. The pyramid is a Hebrew letter for the door, the gate. It's your confession that gets you into the door. You knock and the door will be open to you. You confess that Joshua died for our sins and rose from the dead. It's your mouth, your confession, that's your door. I covered the gates of our body before, and one of the gates is your mouth. And this guy found this old Catholic Bible that was printed in 1909. In it is the Dalet, or what looks like a pyramid with the Father's name in it, Yahuwah. But they use it as a capstone over a pyramid because we went back to Egypt in ships. So he became the best shepherd over us. They were bondsmen and bondswomen because we fell back into captivity. And there he is in front of the pyramid. In front of him also is the X. I covered the X before, and the keys, and I'm about to cover the keys next. For the beast that comes out of the sea gives a power over to the beast of the land. He gave the power over to the Pope. The Holy See. If you take a good look at the Star of Ephraim, that they call a Star of David, that there's no such thing as a Star of David, it's actually two pyramids, two Dalits, one up and one pointed down because it was flipped over. Because everything is flipped and turned upside down, like the scripture says. He took the place of Abba. And now to the key. Joshua said to them, have you never read in the scriptures? The stone the builders rejected has become the capstone or the cornerstone. So he is our capstone. So Joshua went to the abyss for 3 days to set the captives free. And he took the keys of death and hell. And these will be the ones that will be destroyed in the book of Revelation because there's not going to be no death or hell in the new world. So they tell you that Peter is the keeper of the keys. What they did is that they tricked you out of your keys, your power. And I say unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. They're trying to tell you that Joshua gave his power over to Peter. Okay, this is what the Catholics will tell you. And Peter was the first pope. And you should know that that's not the same Peter, because his disciple was married. He had a mother-in-law. And popes don't marry. So their Peter is Janos, and I covered Janos several times already. The keeper of the keys. Janos plays both Cybele and Peter. The sun god, the moon goddess. St. Peter's, Janos, god of gods, Janus and Cybele. Another name that he goes by is El. And you guys are familiar with the skeleton key, right? El Saturn, he goes by many names, is a keeper of the keys and the gates. Saturn, one of the reasons Father Time is depicted as a skeleton is that Saturn, or Kronos, rules the teeth and the bones. In other words, a skeletal frame. Skeleton key. I also cover the Papal bloodline. They come from the Merovingian kingdom. The 13 holy bloodlines, so-called. So they tell you that Peter was crucified upside down, right? That's what they tell you. St. Peter's Janos, inverted crucifixion, Roman bishop fable. And in the bottom, Pope claim authority over all souls, 1302. So he's the keeper of the keys. He's keeping you from going home. Death and Hades, those are the keys. And because everything is flipped upside down, there it goes. There goes the key. And there's the keyhole, St. Peter's Basilica. And if you don't think they're behind everything, you're mistaken. This is a headline earlier this week. Pope calls for global equality in healthcare. Global. You see the top? White Pope, Black Pope, Gray Pope. Remember, all roads lead to Rome.
Controls the entire world. Many people know about the Pope, but what if he's not the only Pope? Rumor has it that there are 3 popes in existence. The White Pope, which everyone knows, the Black Pope, and the Gray Pope, each trumping each other in terms of power. The White Pope is the leader of the Vatican Church, and the Black Pope is the leader of the Society of Jesuits. However, when it comes to the Gray Pope, it is a whole different story. Well, you'll see. The Gray Pope, or more commonly known as Pepe Orsini, is the latest heir from a long bloodline of black nobility that are the movers and shakers behind world control, with their dynasty going way back to even Babylonian times. Today, they are the world's most powerful family heading the Illuminati, with even the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers reporting to them, but not many people know that.